Welcome to the eCommerce Badassery Podcast, the place for scrappy female entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Welcome back to the eCommerce Badassery Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. If you're an e-com business owner currently using the Shopify platform, or you're one who has been wondering what all the fuss about Shopify is, this is the episode for you. Last week, Shopify held their annual Shopify Unite conference where they unveiled what's coming to the platform. The event itself is really meant for developers, and a lot of the content is targeted to them, but it still gives you great insight into what's coming to the platform for you as the merchant. And I gotta tell you, it's really freaking exciting. Now, like I said, a lot of what was shared was geared toward developers. There's a lot of developer jargon. You could totally watch it if you want, but I'm just breaking down the new features that are going to affect you directly, and then a few other things that are developer specific, but we'll talk about what that's going to mean for you as the merchant. So let's hop right into it. First up is the release of Online Store 2.0. This, my friends, has been a long time coming, and I'm so damn excited for it. Online Store 2.0 is a new version of the theme customizer, which is bringing sections to all pages on your website. Yes, all pages. So if you've been using a page builder like Gem Pages or Shogun to build out more complex product pages, for example, this is going to be now built right into your theme. Building out every page on your site is going to have a similar feel to how you build out your homepage right now, but it's even better and more modular than that. You'll even be able to add multiple blocks to your header section and be able to turn them on and off with that little eye icon, just like your homepage sections have now. So you can save some of your most used blocks and just toggle them on when you want them. Also part of Online Store 2.0 is that you'll be able to build new page templates on the fly right in the customizer without having to touch a line of code. Currently, if you want to have a different layout for 2 different product pages, you'd have to go into your theme code, duplicate the existing product template so that you can edit that independent of the other product template. This is especially true if your theme has additional section content on your product page. You know, those newer themes that let you add additional images and text blocks under the standard product listing. But by default, whatever content you added to one product page would automatically show on all the product pages. So you'd have to duplicate the template if you wanted to show different content on different products. Now, technically, it's still going to work the same way. You're going to have to create new versions of these templates when you want them to have different content. But now you'll be able to do it on your own in the theme customizer. No more messing with code or having to hire a developer. And just to make sure you can wrap your head around why you would want this, let's pretend you have a small assortment of handbags, and there's a lot of specific content you want to share related to each of these individual handbags. Maybe you want to show dimensions, features, and use big, beautiful imagery to illustrate that. If you wanted to have separate content on each of these product pages, you would need to go into the code of your theme and duplicate the product template and then update it with all the extra content you want. But now, instead of having to go into the back-end code of your site, you'll be able to do it right from the customizer. Another way you might want to use this is if you carry lots of different brands and you want to add additional information about that brand to their individual product templates. Now you can easily create a different template for each of those brands and assign it to the corresponding products. It's super cool, and it's going to make it so much easier to create the experience for your customers that you want. And so now you're probably thinking, how do I get my hands on this? Well, that depends. At the time of this recording, the only way to get access to this right now is if you start a new Shopify store. All new Shopify stores will come with Dawn as the default theme. It used to be Debut, now it's going to be Dawn. If you're already conducting business on Shopify, you'll need to wait for the theme developers to rebuild their themes on this new base. My recent favorite theme developer, Archetype, announced on their site that the new versions of the themes will be available in early August of this year. If you're using a theme by another developer, I would reach out to them to find out what their timeline is. And according to a thread on Shopify's website, Dawn will be rolling out to existing Shopify customers over the next couple of months. So just hang tight. But before you go running out, getting ready to make this update, let's talk through what I think makes the most sense in terms of how to actually handle it and go about it. If you were getting ready to or recently started a theme upgrade, you may want to wait at least until the newest version of your own theme comes out or when Dawn is available to all merchants. If you've already updated this year, or you have a ton of custom content that has already been added to your store, honestly, just wait until Q1 of 2022. Switching themes can be a very big undertaking, especially with all the new features, and unless you have a separate team of people that can do the migration without interrupting your regular day-to-day or prepping for Q4, it just doesn't make sense to do it right now. And really, that also depends on the timeline of when your current theme is going to have the new version. Now, of course, you don't necessarily have to wait for your existing theme to be compatible for Online Store 2.0. You could always switch themes if you wanted to, but that's going to be just as much work. So either way, I urge you to really consider the time investment and if that's feasible for you this year. Okay, the next big announcement Shopify made was that meta fields will now be integrated right into the Shopify admin, and you'll no longer need apps to take advantage of them. And you're probably saying to yourself, what the fuck are meta fields? Meta fields are just additional fields that you can use on Shopify to store information about products, pages, and collections. If you think about your products now, you have a few fields that you can use. You've got the title, vendor, product type, variant fields, and the description. If you have additional information like ingredients, care, a size chart, product dimensions, these are things you'd have to either put in the description field, or if you worked with a developer who added this to your site, they likely did it using meta fields and you just don't realize that. With Online Store 2.0, you'll be able to create meta fields in the Shopify admin and add content to them right on the product page. And the content or the value of the field is unique for each product. So you could, for instance, use a product meta field to store ingredients and then easily display it in an accordion field on the product page without having to create like a big long description that includes the ingredients. Now, you can already do this in some themes, but those accordion fields are shared across all of your products unless you create a new product template like I discussed earlier. In this case, you'll assign the meta field content at the product level and then pull the info into the theme customizer on the product page dynamically. So when you're adding content to your product page, you'll choose the section you want to display the content in, and then you'll be able to choose the meta field as the dynamic content you want to show there. So let me try and explain this again. I know it's hard to understand. So on your product page template, you're going to put in, say it's an accordion, right? Where you like hit the little arrow and it opens up to give you more data. So you're going to have this accordion, and then for that accordion, you are going to assign the product care meta field. Now the value, the content that's going to be in that product care meta field is going to be assigned on the individual product page. So you may have some products that say, hey, wash in cold water, and then you have others that say dry clean only, but they're going to exist on the same template. It's just going to dynamically pull the content from the Shopify admin. Like I said, I know it's hard to understand, especially without seeing it. So if you're not already part of the eCommerce Badassery Facebook group, you should come join because I'm going to be going live this Thursday to visually walk you through this. So definitely get your booty on over there. And if you are not listening to this in real time, come on over anyway because there will be a replay. Another kick-ass feature of Online Store 2.0 is that the way we install apps is changing. If you've been a long-time app user on Shopify, you know that even when you delete an app from your store, it often leaves unused code behind in your theme, and the only way to truly remove it is to go into your theme code and delete it, which can be intimidating if you don't know what you're doing. And the same is true for installation. Not every app fully installs on its own, and oftentimes you have to copy and paste code into your theme, which can be a real pain in the ass when developers name their files differently than the directions and you don't even know what the hell you're doing. It's so overwhelming and intimidating. But with Online Store 2.0, Shopify is introducing something called Theme App Extensions. This will allow apps to contribute their own sections and blocks into the theme. So when you're editing your product pages, for example, when you add a section, you go to choose the type of content you want to add, there will be options to choose from the apps that you have installed in your store that are compatible. The easiest example of this would be product reviews. So instead of manually adding the code to your template, you would just add a section and then insert the reviews widget right from the theme customizer. Like I said, though, it needs to be compatible. So the developers need to update their apps in order to be compatible with Shopify's Online Store 2.0. So it's likely going to be a bit before every app you use works this way. At the time of this recording, I couldn't find any examples, but this was only announced on June 29th, so they're going to need some time. If you want to see an example, I'll stick a link in the show notes for the replay of the presentation with a timestamp of when they demo the theme app extensions. And before we move on, I just want to mention a few cool things that this Shopify Online Store 2.0 is going to make it so much easier for you to do. And first is to edit your 404 page. That's the page customers land on when you have broken links on your site. And traditionally, all this has is some text that says, oops, we can't find that, along with a button to keep shopping. If you wanted to make that a shoppable page, you would have to edit your theme code to show products or categories. But with Online Store 2.0, you'll be able to add sections to that page just like you can anywhere else. So it'll be really easy to add a carousel of your best-selling products or links to your most popular collections or whatever else you want to add on there. You're also going to have the ability to add additional content to your cart. So it'll be a great way to show some simple cross-sells without having to add an app to your store. One other quick note about the cart. In the presentation, they mentioned changes to the API that would open up the possibility to show shipping fees, discount codes, and more on the cart page, like before the customer has to go to checkout. And after playing in the new theme, it looks like you're still going to need an app for that because the functionality isn't built in. But my guess is that developers now have more access. They can get more information than they were before, which would make developing apps that do things like that possible. Or it could just be that it hasn't been fully released yet. I don't actually know. But I wanted you to know that it's coming. I just don't 100% know how it's going to be implemented. Another super exciting announcement is they've released checkout app extensions. Up until now, only Shopify Plus merchants had the ability to edit the checkout page. If you weren't on Shopify Plus, you couldn't do much more than add your logo and change some colors. But now, with these new extensions, developers will be able to create apps that can be installed on the checkout page itself. And we've already seen a little bit of the benefit of Shopify opening checkout to their app developers with the change in subscription apps. If you remember, those apps used to create their own checkout, whereas now they're fully integrated with Shopify's native checkout. This change brought a lot of new subscription apps to the marketplace and has improved the quality of these apps overall and the cost of them. Because, competition has a way of making everyone step up their game. With developers having access to checkout, I'm sure there are going to be a lot of new functionalities available. Cross-sells on the checkout page, anyone? I'm sure they're coming. In the demo example, during the Shopify Unite presentation, they created a text alert that would show to a customer located in California who was purchasing a product that required a Prop 65 warning. Essentially, he was able to build an app that would look for a specific product and the location of the buyer to determine if the text block should show. It's a simple example, but it does give a little insight into what's possible moving forward. So tell me, are you as excited about all of this as I am? Even as someone who is super well versed in Shopify and who has managed to teach yourself some code along the way, I am so stoked for Online Store 2.0. The ease with which we'll be able to customize our storefronts is so awesome, and I can't wait to start digging in and learning more about what it can do. If I were you, I would soak this in, get excited, and then pencil in time on your calendar for January of next year to actually implement the changes. As we learn more about it and it starts rolling out to all merchants, if I change my recommendation about this, I will definitely let you know. But as of right now, I say leave this alone until next year. Now, if you haven't started your business yet or you've been planning to migrate to Shopify from another platform, you're going to have access to Online Store 2.0 and the Dawn theme right away. All new stores created will start with that theme. You won't necessarily have the app extensions piece because the app developers need to update their apps, but you will have the new store builder, which is super freaking cool. And if you're already in business, but you're dying to see the new theme, you could always just go create a new trial store, or like I mentioned earlier, join me in the eCommerce Badassery Facebook group. If you're listening to this in real time, I'll be sharing on Thursday. Otherwise, you can catch the replay. And that, my friends, is a wrap for today. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll see you on the flip side. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful if you'd leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking to surround yourself with more product entrepreneurs who totally get your life right now, get your booty on over to the eCommerce Badassery Facebook group. Can't wait to see you there. Until next time, e-commerce friends, stay badass.